Hello, this is Baylor from ScoobyDoobyDoo.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a game with PHP. So this is going to be very simple. It's not very hard to do. Yeah, so what I have here is an example of it. You can see you have to supply username to place, so I'm going to put my name in. You can also see that it has grabbed all the previous players. We have Baylor was a player. He won 3 times, lost 5 times, and had 5 ties. Whenever I input my username Baylor, it is going to save that and continue adding to this username. That's just the way it works. So if I choose paper here, see I lost, so now Baylor has 6 losses, or has lost 6 times. Oops, I didn't mean to log out. Okay, so you can see that hopefully I can win while I'm playing this. So you can see Rock beats Scissors. So Baylor has won 4 times, lost 8 times, and has 6 ties. And then you can log back out and play as a different user. So that's what we're going to create. The main point of this is it so you have a game that you can put on your website for people to come and play. Because it's a mini game that they have money when they win and stuff like that, but rather something that you can just put on your website that somebody plays just for fun, if that makes sense. They just come in, they come log onto the website, and they play it. It's like in your sidebar or whatever. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and start this. Okay, so I have index.php, it's just a blank file, and it's ready to go. So I've already styled this and I have it the way I need it to look. So the first thing I want to do is create game.php. And the first part of this tutorial, I think I might try to split this up into 3 main parts, or 3 parts. The first part's just going to be the main, just trying to get it so you can choose a item, and it'll choose and then it will choose a computer player item and see who wins. So I'll go ahead and show you how I have mine set up the way I want it to work. So I'll go ahead and put my 3 images here. So we're going to have a rock, and then paper, and scissors. So we're going to have a link for each one of these, and the first one is rock, so we'll go add item equals rock, and then we're going to have its actual title, rock, with a line break. Finish my link. And then we'll have a link to paper, so item equals paper, and it's paper. And you'll have to set this up however you want it. This is kind of the easy part. Right now we're just simply defining or setting up our code as to how this works. So however you design this, your syntax will change accordingly, obviously. So yeah, this is kind of a long part. But we're done. After this, we're done. Okay, so go ahead and tab that out. So you can see that we have rock, paper, and scissors. So we're actually going to use PHP to display each one of these items. So to do that, what I'm going to do is cut it and start my PHP, and I'm going to create a function. So this function is going to be called display items. And we're going to have an array inside of this called items. And I'm just going to paste this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the first one to rock. That's equal to, and just select this and comment it out, or add a comma. So then we're going to have paper. And the last one scissors. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I just want to cycle through this and display each one of them. So we're running for each items as item equals value, and here we'll just echo out value. So if I go ahead and reload this page and come below that and run our function, so display items, you can see that it just echoes out all the items and puts them where they need to go, or how it just puts them on the page. And you'll see why I put that into a function later on. So the first thing I'm going to do, or not, what I'm going to do now is I have game.php, and I want to take this function and just put it inside game.php, because game.php is going to hold the main things for the website. And what I mean by that, or not website, but for this game. So I'm just going to include that file and start my function again. So display functions, no items. So you can see nothing's changed here. So the next thing I want to do is go ahead and make it so when I click on one of these, it will go ahead and change. And what I mean by change is, you'll see. The next part of this, I'm going to create another function called game, and I'm separating these. Then it doesn't really matter if you separate it or not. I'm just doing it because index.php, what I'm going to do right here is just call the function game. And it's kind of weird when you come and look at this and you're like, well, that's weird. I just see game. But that's just what I'm doing for this right now. So the first thing I want to do is you'll notice that when you click on a link, it goes to item equals rock. Okay? So we're just going to find out if that exists on their URI. So if is set get item is equal to true. And then we'll enter if. So if it is equal to true, we'll just echo out our get item. Else, then we're just going to run our display items. Okay, so when I reload this page, nothing happens. But when I click on rock, you can see that it says I chose the rock. What we need to do, though, is we need to make sure that the user can't just come in here or come and change this to whatever they want. So we'll just change this to me. And the reason I'm doing that is because I would have created an array, so our items, and this variable will not conflict with this, because this is inside a function and it won't call outside variables unless we tell it to. So this function game items, we have this equal to an array, and here we're going to define rock, paper, and scissors again. So here we can just find out, we're just going to call this valid options or items. And the reason I'm doing that is so, for instance, if somebody looks at this and thinks, hey, look, the way he's deciding whether he's got a rock or whatever is just by this equal sign, then he can come in here and change it and mess up our script. So we're creating this array, so here we can run, we're just going to create another variable for our item, so get item. We already know that that variable exists, we won't get an error. So here I'm just going to define users item. And here we're going to make sure that the user's item is valid. So users item is valid. So if in array, and that's a function that PHP will use to find out if the item, our user's item, is in our array of items. And that's equal to false. Then what we'll do here, oops, what did I do? Not for sure, but enter if. So if it's equal to false, then that means that the array, this item, doesn't exist. So we'll just echo out bad job, whatever. I'm just gonna put bad. It doesn't. So you can see that me doesn't exist, so we got bad. But if I change that to rock, then it's equal to true, and we don't get an error. So here we're just going to say you must choose from either a rock, paper, or scissors. And you shouldn't put it like that, but that's what we're going to do. And then we're just going to kill the statement, so die. Basically, that's just going to stop it. So if the user's item isn't valid, then we're going to echo out an error and stop PHP from running. So if I change it back to me, whoops, you can see that you get, you must choose either a rock, paper, or scissors. That's not valid or correct English, but I'm not going to worry about it. So the next thing that we need to do is, now we know whether it's valid or not. If it's not valid, it's not going to continue working. But if it is valid, it's going to skip that or look over that. So what we need to do now is we need a computer player, or we need to set up a computer player's item. So let's just change this item to user item, because that'll make a little bit more sense. And we'll put it there as well. So now we have the user item. We need a computer player item. So computer player. So here I'm just going to set comp item equal to items, and I don't know if you know this, but you can actually call a segment of an array by adding square brackets to a variable of an array. So if we call 1 here and I echo out comp variable or comp item, you can see that we got paper, and that is because we have 0, 1, 2. So if I run 2 right here, you can see that we have scissors. So basically, we just need to create a variable between 0, 1, and 2. To do that, I'm just going to write a function inside of this called rand 0 and 2. And that's going to generate a number between 0 and 2. It's not a very big, it's not a large scale of numbers, so it's not going to generate, or two things. You'll see the same numbers output twice in a row, quite a few times. That was 3 or 4 times. And the reason it's doing that is because there's only 3 items to choose from, and so you only choose from 0, 1, or 2. That's not a large scale to try to choose a random number. So it's kind of, most of the time, this computer player is going to get the same item in a row. Doesn't really matter because it's just a game, and it's very simple, and it's not very elaborate, really. So it doesn't matter to me. It might matter to you. If it matters to you, you can figure something out to make it more where it does something better than that. If you did, I would just copy these and output them in different orders, just like random. So you have rock, paper, scissors, paper, rock, scissors, like that, and then you can generate a random number between all of those, and then you can get something more where it's more random. It's up to you though. So now we have a computer player item. So what I want to do now is we want to find out let's just put this in code so we can kind of read this, because I don't want to try to explain it. So as you know, scissors beats paper, and paper beats rock, and rock beats scissors. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is if user item is equal to scissors and the computer player item is equal to paper, then the user wins. So let's just write that out. So if user item is equal to scissors and the computer player item is equal to paper, then the user wins. Now, what I want to do is, instead of writing an if statement for each one of these, I'm just going to chain them, and it makes the code a little more difficult to read, but it's more practical. So basically, right here, this double line is equal to or. You could put or like that. I'm just going to do like this because that's how I first started writing, and I'm more familiar with that. But you do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. So if the user item is equal to paper and the computer player item is equal to rock, then the user wins. If the user item is equal to rock and the computer player's item is equal to scissors, then we can just close this, enter if, and it's actually kind of weird to look at it like that, so I'm just going to tab it out again. Then the user wins. So basically, I'm just going to echo out an H3, or actually an H2, you win. And I'm going to set a variable. Actually, I'm not going to do that yet. So we have you win. What we need to do now is find out if you lose. So I'm just going to copy all of this and repaste it, and I'm going to reverse this. So I'm just going to copy the user item and paste it in the place of computer item, and take the computer item and paste it in the place of the user item. So now, if the computer player's item is a scissors and the user's item is paper, then the computer wins. And here I'm just going to echo out you lose. Now, what if they tie? Well, that's very, very easy. We're just going to write if the user item is equal to the computer player's item, then echo H2 tie. Okay, so it's very easy. Let's just go ahead and go back and test this again. So if I click on rock, you can see it was a tie. That means the computer player got a rock. Scissors, that's not good. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't put in user item equals user item. It should. Okay, so you can see that I'm tying quite a few times. I can just reload this page, and you can see that I get my item is always scissors, and his is random most of the time. Actually, it is always random. Just a lot of times it's the same thing. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to style this a little bit better. And what I mean by that is I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to echo out or put in, just run display items, or actually we'll echo out inside of a paragraph display. We'll run, let's see, I'll just run display items for the user item, and then display items for our computer's item. And we'll just echo out this as user's item and the computer player's item. Okay, so we passed a parameter through this function. We didn't specify it to have a parameter, so I'm just going to set this as item equals blank. So, or actually, let's just do null. So if the user does not supply a parameter, then nothing happens. It's just going to go through its normal for each. If there is a parameter, though, here's where we're going to go ahead and spit out, or we're going to show which item they want. So here I'm just going to set this to if item is equal to null, then we'll just paste that. Else, enter if. So if it's not, then we're going to echo out items item. And same thing over here as I did before, where we did random numbers. I could do numbers here, but since I already have it with names, I don't have to. So, if I reload this page, you can say you lose. And, oh, that has a capital letter. So, I forgot to do this last time, but you can see right now, paper beats scissors, I lost. Or scissors beats paper, I'm really sorry. Tie, paper and paper. You lose. Paper is, okay, finally. Paper beats rock. So here it's outputting the correct items, and telling me if I won or lost. What I want to do, though, is what happens if I make this a capital P? It says you must choose either a rock, paper, or scissors. What I want to do to fix that, or what I need to do to fix that, is just put this to string to lower. And that is a function that PHP has that lowercase is this, so it's a lowercase letter. And what I'm going to do as well below this is add a go back link. So echo a href equals the current directory, go play again. One thing I should note, though, is that, let's put that inside of a div. Okay, so one thing that, these are still links. I can click on this and have my item set to scissors, and just, I can click on it and have it switch. Or I can go back and I can choose from all the items. That is a problem, so to fix that, what I want to do is, I guess what I'll do here is, okay, this is what I have come up with. So, since we already have this item set up, okay, what I'm going to do, so comment that out. What I want to do is I'm going to echo string replace, and we're going to replace item equals the item, let's see, put that in double quote, so item equals item. And what that does is basically we're replacing this text right here, so with a go back link. Yeah, actually I'll just make it blank, or we'll just make it a dollar sign, or not dollar, where to just do nothing. And here we'll just say items, item. So it's, if you don't know how to use that function, if you never used that function before, all it's just going to do is take this text and replace it with this dollar sign, number. That's bad. So, and then this is just how you can put in a variable inside. So if I go ahead and click on this, line 16. Okay. So you can see that now these, if you look at the status bar, you can see that it's blank. So yeah, I can click on this and it doesn't do anything. You could, like my code, I was just going to replace that. See, what I could do is just tell it to replace the entire link. A href equals, and then double quotes. I didn't do it though because my code or my CSS styles each image. So if you you probably won't have yours set up that way. I have mine set up that way, so I can't change that. But that's what you would do normally. So thanks for watching this video, and goodbye. I'm afraid it's a bit confusing right there at the end. What I meant was, normally what you would do is you would style that in like a div or a span or something, and it wouldn't mess that up. But mine messes up because I styled my link to wrap this. So if I replace that entire link with a span or something, then I'm going to end up, my code's going to mess up. So that's the reason I didn't do it. Normally what you could do though is you could select this entire part right here and replace that with just a span, and then you could replace this part with a span, and if you styled it correctly with your CSS, then it would display the exact same way, just not as a link. Okay, so thanks for watching again, and goodbye.